Welcome to the Green Ring, and thanks for watching. This video is first in a series of intermission features between Die Walküre and Siegfried, during the channel's note-by-note analysis of Wagner's Der Ring des Nibelungen from first page to last. Please do leave a like and or add comment, even subscribe to the channel, any of these being so vital to the YouTube algorithm which keeps this one-of-a-kind enterprise afloat. The Green Ring introduces many syntactic innovations crowded among those traditional analysis has identified as leitmotifs or motifs. This commentary prefers to take Wagner at his word, who thought of his music's functionality as parallel to that of spoken and written language. Through the large web of themes which dominate all four works, a language has been created of which the world as yet knows nothing. Rather than confuse the issue by adopting in place of musical terms linguistic ones, such as noun, verb, preposition, prefix, suffix, the Green Ring refers to the longest of the tetralogy's syntactic elements as morphemes, shorter constituents, modules, the shortest, cells. Since no previous analysis has recognized these elements, and as they play so prominent a role in this exhaustive analysis, special attention is devoted to them at this midpoint, giving those who follow the arguments it presents a clearer grasp both as they move forward and when revisiting prior chapters. This video concentrates on the Meister's employment of what the Green Ring identifies as a unique rising six-note scale to advance his narrative purposes. This module is another which might be dismissed as pareidolia were it not for how consistently Wagner employs it. Scales are so common in music in all its genres, from folk to popular to symphonic, it's only natural the Meister would employ them liberally. To ascribe to any rising scale a discrete syntactic meaning does seem an unacceptable leap. Yet a falling scale, specifically the spare morpheme, most certainly plays a key syntactic role in the epic. Volkswagen incorrectly ascribed the syntax to Wotan's bargain with the giants, a confusion to permeate ring analysis until Cook explained it more aptly as a mark of the weapon in all its uses throughout the work. It therefore isn't illogical that rising scales might represent some kind of opposition to the spear's power. This is particularly apparent from the beginning of Das Rheingold prelude, whose first characters, the Rhine maidens, are introduced by a welter of scalar ascents. As the story develops, it becomes clear their natural state is opposed to the god's unnatural control as exercised by his spear. His refusal to return to them their stolen gold, leaving no doubt of it. Sinuous waveforms dominate the orchestral texture of Scene 1 until Flosshilde realizes Alberich's potential threat, viola skittering up a six-note diatonic scale which becomes chromatic, then passes to violins. The dwarf himself will soon be Wotan's primary opponent, just as he is here for the Rhine maidens. Scalar movements run through this first scene in the epic. Falling instances invariably depict the maidens approaching Alberich, rising ones as they evade him. When Voglinde reveals the crucial details of how to forge the ring, a six-note chromatic scale creeps up from her mention of Zauber. This information taken together suggests the rising scale bears a potent syntactic relation to the dwarf, who is inalterably opposed to Wotan and his spear. The Valhalla morpheme subtly ratifies this idea by comfortably freezing its three-note scalar lift into a controlled march through a rare high-ash interval, as opposed to the rising scale's fluidity in its precursor, the ring, to suggest the god's control over this potential danger. Rapid scalar lifts epitomize Fricka's protests at Wotan for endangering her sister with the giant steel, And Freya's morpheme not coincidentally begins with the rising scale, a goddess whose value the god holds in such contempt, while her giant morpheme is fraught with rising scalar graces. Fasol's outrage over Wotan's attempt to renege on their bargain is fraught with scalar lifts similar to those in Fricka's opposition, one of them directly opposed by the spear itself, while the syntax expressing Donner's hammer swings as he opposes the giants consists of a scalar rise immediately posed by descent. The rising scale acquires a more definitive quality once Wotan and Loge descend into Nibelheim. This begins with Albrecht's whip strokes on strings, often with upper strings opposed by falling scales in lower strings. While this is still relatively generic, when Mime explains to the gods how he aspires to the power his brother wields, the ring morpheme's ascent expands to 6 notes. These rising scales enervate Albrecht's threats against the gods, the 3-note scale of the horde ratifying the power he hopes to wield. A chromatic scale announces the dwarf's final appeal to keep the ring, while a mostly diatonic scalar uprush precedes Wotan ripping the bauble from his enemy's finger. Throughout Die Walküre, rising scales routinely express both desperation and opposition, though as the Nibelung threat is expressed primarily in the god's Welsung Valkyrie expedient, the scale's sense of opposition lurks insidiously within his dreams for a free hero who'll seize back the ring for him. Mime expresses his atavistic fathering of Siegfried with rising scales, then more syntactically distinct as he inadvertently reveals to the hero his plans for murdering him. With Götterdämmerung, the rising 6 notes at last coalesce into definitive syntax in the interlude after Hagen's watch song. Recognized by Holman, it intertwines with the ring fragment, a module with a sense of racial dominance over the gods. Rheinmaiden's carol, the 6-note scalar ascent, is part of their anticipation that Siegfried will die, a premonition made flesh to announce and permeate the hero's funeral music. This is as far as I'll examine instances of this module until moving forward to Siegfried and Götterdämmerung, where it continues to have a significant impact on the work's syntax. My hope is this short video gives you a more complete idea of what I believe are its associative ramifications. Thank you again so much for watching, and do please hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you found this worthwhile, subscribe for the rest of what will be an epic journey. Any and or all are so important to the YouTube algorithm. Oh, and a little donation to my Patreon account would be a huge help in completing this massive work.